Imagine one day it is very hot, the next day it rains heavily. A few months later, it becomes cold. Why does this happen? Why is Kashmir covered with snow while Rajasthan is extremely hot? Why does Kerala receive heavy rainfall but Ladakh remains dry? All these questions are answered by climate. In this chapter, we will understand difference between weather and climate, different climates found in India, factors that decide climate, monsoons, climate and our daily life, natural disasters, and climate change. By the end of this chapter, you will easily answer every exam question. Many people think weather and climate are the same. They are not. This is one of the most important exam questions. Weather means the condition of the atmosphere at a particular time. It changes every hour or every day. For example, today it is sunny, tomorrow it may rain. The next day it may become cloudy or windy. So, weather keeps changing frequently. Examples of weather: rain, sunshine, wind, etc. What is climate? Climate means the pattern of weather of a place over a very long period. Scientists study weather for several decades before deciding the climate of a place. Climate changes very slowly. Examples: Rajasthan is generally hot and dry. Kerala is generally warm and rainy. These are climates, not weather. So, weather is short term while climate is long term pattern. We know that the earth revolves around the sun. Because of this, different seasons occur every year. Each season lasts for a few months. The seasons repeat in the same order every year. There are four common seasons in most parts of the world. They are spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Besides these four seasons, India also has a rainy season, that is monsoon season. This is very important because most rainfall occurs during this period. Traditionally, India divides the year into 6 seasons: Vasanta, that is spring; Grishma, that is summer; Varsha, which is rainy season; and Sharad, which is autumn season; and Hemanta means pre-winter, and Shishir means winter season. Many Indian festivals and rituals are connected with these 6 seasons. How do seasons affect our life? Everything around us changes with seasons. For example, some trees bloom during spring, some shed leaves during autumn, and we have seen many animals grow thick fur in winter. And we wear different clothes, we eat different foods, farmers grow different crops, and many festivals are celebrated in different seasons. So, seasons affect almost every part of life. Remember this sequence: weather changes every day, weather changes with seasons, the pattern of seasons over many years forms climate. India is a country of great diversity. Just as people, languages, and food are different, the climate is also different from one place to another. Alpine climate is found in the Himalayan regions in the northernmost part of India. Here, winters are extremely cold with heavy snowfall, and summers are cool. People living in these areas wear thick woolen clothes for most of the year. And the word alpine comes from the Alps mountains of Europe. Temperate climate. If we come a little lower down the Himalayas, we find many famous hill stations like Shimla, Darjeeling, and Nainital. Here, the winters are moderately cold and the summers are pleasant, not too hot. That is why many people visit these places during summer holidays. Now, let's move to the northern plains. States like Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh experience a subtropical climate. Here, summers are very hot and winters become quite cold. This region is also famous for growing wheat. Arid climate. Arid climate is found in the Thar Desert. Here, the days are extremely hot. Rainfall is very low. And interestingly, the nights are much cooler. Because water is scarce, people have developed special methods to collect and store rainwater. Tropical wet climate is found in western coastal strip. This region receives heavy rainfall during monsoon and it is suitable for growing rice and spices. The central Deccan Plateau has a semi-arid climate. Here summers are hot winters are mild and rainfall is moderate. Eastern India and much of southern India experience a tropical climate. Here, winters are mild and it has clear, wet and dry seasons. And the monsoon winds mainly control the rainfall here. So, India has many different climates because different parts of the country receive different amounts of sunlight, rainfall and winds. Factors determining the climate. So, why do different places have different climates? Here, many factors work together. Let's understand each factor one by one. First is latitude. Latitude tells us how far a place is from the equator. Places near the equator receive almost direct sunlight, therefore they are warmer. As we move further away from the equator, the sun's rays become slanting. The heat spreads over a larger area, so those places become cooler. For example, Kanyakumari and the Nicobar Islands are close to the equator. They remain warm almost throughout the year. On the other hand, Srinagar is farther north and therefore much cooler. So remember, lower latitude means warmer climate and higher latitude means cooler climate. The second factor is altitude. Altitude means the height of a place above sea level. As altitude increases, temperature decreases. Now, why does the temperature decrease as we go higher? First, as we climb higher, atmospheric pressure decreases. You already learned in the previous chapter that atmospheric pressure becomes lower with increasing altitude. Because of this, the air becomes less dense or thinner. Thin air cannot retain as much heat as dense air. So, the temperature becomes lower. And there is another reason. The sun heats the Earth's surface first. After the ground gets heated, it warms the air above it. This means the air close to the Earth's surface is warmer. So, as we move higher and farther away from the surface, the air receives less heat, so it becomes cooler. This is why hill stations have a pleasant climate even during summer. The Himalayas are an excellent example. They are so high that the temperature on many mountain peaks remain below the freezing point of water. Because of this, the snow does not melt completely and many Himalayan peaks remain covered with snow throughout the year. So remember, the higher the altitude, the lower the temperature. Proximity to the sea. The sea acts like a natural temperature controller. It does not heat up or cool down quickly. Because of this, coastal areas do not become extremely hot during summer. They also do not become extremely cold during winter. So here you can see that in summer both the land and the sea receive sunlight. But the land heats up much faster and it becomes very hot. The sea heats up slowly, so it stays cooler. That's why places near the sea remains cooler than inland areas. Now the opposite happens in winter season. The land loses heat quickly and becomes cold, but the sea loses heat slowly. So it stays warmer for a longer time. That's why places near the sea remains warmer than inland areas in winter season. For example, Mumbai is close to the Arabian Sea. Its climate remains pleasant for most of the year. Nagpur is far away from the sea. Its summers become much hotter and its winters become much cooler. So remember, places near the sea have moderate temperatures and places far from the sea experience more extreme temperatures. And another important factor determining the climate is winds. Winds carry heat, cold and moisture from one place to another. Because of this, they can make a place warmer, cooler, wetter or drier. The climate of a place depends on where the wind comes from. If the wind comes from the sea, it carries plenty of moisture, that is water vapor. If the wind comes from the land, it is usually dry because land has much less moisture. So, when you are standing near the beach, the wind is blowing from the sea towards the land feels cool because the sea does not heat up quickly. It also carries water vapor. When these moist winds move over land, the water vapor condenses into clouds and brings rainfall. During summer, states like Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh often receive hot, dry winds from the west. These winds travel across the deserts of Arabia and Afghanistan before reaching India. As they pass over these dry desert regions, they become hot and dry. When they reach these states, they cause severe heat waves. And during winter, the situation changes. Cold winds blowing from across the Himalayas move into the Himalayan foothills. These cold winds lower the temperature and cause cold waves in many northern parts of India. But winds affect more than just temperature. They also affect humidity, which in turn affects rainfall. Now imagine a wind blowing across a desert. Since deserts have very little water, the wind cannot pick up much moisture. So it remains dry. When this dry wind reaches the land, it usually does not bring rainfall. Now imagine a wind blowing over the sea. As it travels over the sea, it picks up water vapor and becomes moist. When these moist winds move over to the land, they carry moisture with them. If the moist air rises and cools, the water vapor condenses into tiny droplets, forming clouds that may produce rainfall. A very important example of such moist winds is the monsoon winds. These winds blow from the sea towards India and bring most of the rainfall during the rainy season. So remember, sea winds bring rain and land winds are usually dry. Next is topography. The word topography simply means the physical features of the land. It includes mountains, hills, plains, plateaus, valleys, etc. The topography of a region plays an important role in determining its climate. For example, the Himalayas and the Karakoram ranges act like a natural barrier. They protect the Indian subcontinent to some extent from the cold winds coming from the cold deserts of Central Asia. On the other hand, the Thar Desert has almost flat topography. Since there are no high mountains to stop the winds, hot and dry winds can move freely across the region. After learning all the factors, one important point to remember is that no single factor decides the climate of a place. The climate of any region is determined collectively by all the factors we have studied, that is, latitude, altitude, proximity to the sea, winds, and topography. When we describe the climate of region, we describe the long-term pattern of temperature, precipitation, that is rain or snowfall, and even the occurrence of fog or mist, and wind conditions. These patterns are observed over 3 decades or more. Now let us learn one last concept before moving to the monsoons. Sometimes a small area has a climate that is different from the surrounding region. This is called a microclimate. A microclimate is a climate localized in a small area with its own unique pattern of temperature, humidity, and precipitation. Although it is only a small geographical area, its climate can be different from the nearby region, like enclosed valleys and some forest. These have their own microclimates because the local conditions are different from the surrounding region. And some cities have a large number of buildings and many concrete structures and very little vegetation. These buildings and concrete surfaces trap heat. As a result, these cities are often much warmer than the surrounding region. This is called an urban heat island, which is also an example of a microclimate. And microclimates can also influence the local flora and fauna and the crops grown there and also the human health and well-being. So far, we have learned about the different factors that determine the India's climate. Now, we are going to study the most important features of India's climate, the monsoon. The monsoon season is central to life in India. In fact, the lives of millions of people depend on it. Think about what happens when the monsoon arrives. After months of hot summer weather, the rain begins to fall. The rivers fill up with water, the soil becomes soaked, making it ready for farming. Farmers start sowing crops and the fields slowly turn green. Plants, animals and people all benefit from the rain. That is why we say life thrives during the monsoon season. So, the monsoon is not just about rainfall, it supports agriculture, water resources and everyday life in India. Now let's understand the meaning of the word monsoon. The word monsoon comes from the Arabic word mausim, which means season. But what exactly is a monsoon? A monsoon refers to seasonal winds. These seasonal winds blow over a large area of the Indian Ocean and the surrounding regions, including Australia, Africa, and South Asia. So remember that monsoon actually refers to seasonal winds, not rainfall. However, because these winds bring heavy rainfall to India, people often use the word monsoon to mean the rainy season itself. But why do these seasonal winds change direction every year? There is a yearly pattern to these monsoons. Land heats up and cools down faster than the ocean. This is the basic idea you should always remember. Because land and water heat and cool at different speeds, temperature, air pressure, and wind movement keep changing during different seasons. This relationship between temperature, pressure, and wind movement is what produces the monsoon. Let's understand this step by step. As summer begins, the Asian landmass becomes very hot because land heats up quickly. As the land becomes hotter, a powerful low pressure system develops over it. Remember from the previous chapter that air always moves from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure. But the ocean remains cooler than the land. So the ocean has relatively higher pressure. Since air always flows from high pressure to low pressure, the winds are drawn from the cooler high pressure ocean towards the hot land. These ocean winds carry moisture. When they reach the warmer land, the moisture condenses and falls as a heavy monsoon rain. This is how the summer monsoon is formed. Now let us see what happens in winter. Everything becomes the opposite of summer. During winter, the land cools much faster than the ocean. Now, the land has high pressure while the ocean remains relatively warmer with lower pressure. As a result, the winds reverse their direction. Instead of blowing from the ocean towards the land, they now blow from the land towards the ocean. These winds are dry, so they bring dry conditions to much of Asia. This is how the winter monsoon is formed. Now that we have understood how the monsoon is formed, let us see how it affects India. Every year, the monsoon follows a regular pattern in India. The monsoon rains usually begin from the southern tip of India in early June. From there, they gradually move northwards. They do not reach the whole country in a single day. Instead, they spread over different parts of India over several weeks. By mid-July, the monsoon usually covers the entire Indian subcontinent. So remember this simple sequence. Early June, southern tip of India, several weeks moves northward, and mid-July covers the whole country. This is how the southwest monsoon reaches India every year. The southwest monsoon does not move smoothly across the country. One of the main reasons is the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats acts as a natural barrier. As the southwest monsoon winds reach the Western Ghats, the western slopes receive heavy rainfall. But after crossing the Western Ghats, the Deccan Plateau, which lies to the east, receives less rainfall. The rainfall here is often interrupted, which means it is not regular or continuous. So, the Western Ghats play an important role in deciding how rainfall is distributed in different parts of India. Why it is called the southwest monsoon? It is simply because the winds come from the southwest direction. So, the name itself is based on the direction from which the winds blow. Now, let us see what happens after the rainy season. As winter approaches, the direction of the wind changes. Instead of blowing from the ocean towards the land, the winds now blow from the land towards the ocean. These are dry winds. So, they bring cold weather to South India. However, there is one interesting point. A part of these winds passes over the Bay of Bengal. As they move over the sea, they collect some moisture. Then, they bring rainfall to parts of eastern and southern India. This is called the winter or northeast monsoon. So far, we have learned how the climate is formed and how the monsoon brings rainfall to India. Now, let us understand how climate affects our daily lives. The climate is not just about hot days, cold days, or rainfall. It influences our culture, economy, and way of life. Wherever you go in India, you will find that people have adapted their lives according to the climate. Have you noticed that many Indian festivals are connected with seasons? This is because our lives have always depended on nature. Many festivals are celebrated during sowing season, harvesting season, beginning of the monsoon, and end of winter. For example, farmers celebrate festivals after a good harvest because the monsoon has helped their crops grow successfully. That is why India has many festivals associated with seasons and agricultural activities. Climate also has a direct impact on the economy. The economy includes activities that help people earn a living, such as farming, industries, and trade. One of the biggest examples is monsoon failure. Sometimes the monsoon brings less rainfall than expected. This is called monsoon failure. Now think about what happens if there is very little rain. First, farmers cannot grow crops properly. Agriculture suffers. Because there is less water, many people, especially women, have to walk long distances to collect water. Agricultural laborers may not get work, so many of them migrate to cities in search of jobs. Since fewer crops are produced, food items like grains, vegetables, fruits become expensive. This increase in prices is called inflation. Industries are also affected because many industries depend on water and predictable weather. So, climate has a direct effect on both agriculture and industries. Climate and disasters. Sometimes weather becomes extremely severe. These extreme weather conditions can cause natural disasters. India experiences several climate related disasters such as cyclones, floods, landslides, and forest fires. These disasters affect people's lives, damage agriculture, destroy roads, bridges, and buildings, and disturb local economies. India's long coastline, especially the eastern coast, experiences several cyclones every year. Some cyclones become extremely destructive. They can cause loss of human and animal life, damages houses and other properties, and they destroy infrastructure such as roads and electricity lines. They uproot trees and cause soil erosion. The India Meteorological Department, that is IMD, continuously monitors cyclones. It provides information about their formation, their movement, and their landfall. This helps people prepare in advance. And National Disaster Response Force, that is NDRF, is specially trained to respond to both natural disasters and human-made disasters. Its teams help in rescue operations, evacuation, and relief work during cyclones, floods, and landslides. Now, let us understand how a cyclone forms. Sometimes the air pressure over the sea becomes lower than the surrounding areas. This creates a low pressure system, and air from the surrounding areas starts moving towards this low pressure area. Since this air comes from the sea, it carries moisture. As the wind collects more moisture, clouds begin to form. The winds start rotating inward towards the center. The center of the cyclone remains cloudless. This cloudless center is called the eye of the cyclone. Next is floods. A flood happens when water overflows into land that is normally dry. Floods may occur because heavy rainfall produces huge amounts of water and rivers and lakes overflow. Their banks break. Floods occur frequently during the monsoon, especially in the vulnerable states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Assam. Floods in the Himalayan regions are different. There are the glacial lakes in the mountains, and these lakes are held back by rocks and ice. If glaciers melt very quickly or there is heavy rainfall, the pressure increases and the barrier breaks, and this is called a glacial burst. It can cause severe damage to people and property. For example, in the year 2013, Uttarakhand experienced a glacial burst after several days of heavy rainfall. Many landslides followed and villages, roads and bridges were washed away. Around 6,000 people lost their lives, including many pilgrims visiting Kedarnath. And sometimes cities also experience flooding. because drainage systems become overloaded, buildings block natural waterways, and concrete and asphalt do not allow rainwater to soak into the ground. As a result, water collects quickly on roads and causes floods. Now, let us learn about another climate related disaster called a landslide. A landslide is the sudden collapse of rock, soil, or debris from a hill or mountain slope. They are often triggered by heavy rainfall, earthquakes, and volcanic activity. When heavy rain falls continuously, the soil becomes loose, and as a result, rocks, soil, and debris suddenly slide down from the slope. This is called a landslide. And landslide usually occur in hilly and mountainous regions, especially in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Western Ghats, and other hilly regions. Most landslides occur during the monsoon season when heavy rainfall loosens the soil. And humans have increased the chances of landslides. Some reasons are cutting down forest, building roads and other infrastructure without following proper methods, and constructing too many buildings that block the natural flow of water. All these activities make the slopes less stable and increase the chances of landslides. And what is a forest fire? A forest fire is an uncontrolled fire that spreads rapidly through forests and other vegetation. Once it starts, it spreads very quickly over a large area. Natural causes include dry climatic conditions, drought, and high winds. Another common cause is human carelessness, such as accidentally starting a fire in or near a forest. Forest fires are common in states with large forest or grasslands such as Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. They also occur in mountain ranges like the Western Ghats. Forest fires do not only burn trees, they also harm wildlife, damage the ecosystem, reduce air quality, force local communities to leave their homes. So, forest fires have both environmental and economic consequences. Climate change. Climate change means significant long-term changes in the climate. These changes may happen across the whole earth or in a particular region. Climate changes include changes in temperature, rainfall, and weather events. Unlike weather, which changes from day to day, climate change takes place over a long period of time. And in the distant past, climate change happened because of natural processes. However, since the 19th century, human activities have become the main cause. These activities include burning fossil fuels, cutting down forests, harmful industrial practices, and excessive and wasteful consumption. These activities have greatly increased climate change. The earth naturally has gases like carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. These gases trap some of the sun's heat, and this natural process is called the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is actually necessary because it keeps the earth warm enough for life. The problem is that human activities release too many greenhouse gases. As a result, more heat gets trapped, the earth becomes warmer, and climate patterns begin to change. This is called global warming. In early 2025, India's average temperature was 1 to 3 degrees Celsius above normal. Because of this, winter became shorter and it became milder. Agriculture was affected and small-scale industries were also affected. This shows that climate change affects both nature and people's lives. So, we have seen that climate-related disasters can affect people, agriculture, and the economy. An important question is, how can we reduce these problems? The first step is to understand the relationship between climate change and disasters. When we know what causes climate change and how it leads to disasters, we can prepare ourselves better and reduce their impact. This also reminds us that we should follow environment-friendly practices and make our communities stronger so that they can adapt to changing climate conditions. Governments around the world, including India, are taking several steps to reduce climate change. These measures are called climate mitigation. Some important measures are reducing greenhouse gas emissions, planting more trees, using renewable sources of energy like solar and wind energy, improving energy efficiently so that less energy is wasted, and promoting sustainable lifestyles where people use natural resources wisely and avoid unnecessary waste. But there is still a challenge. Many countries also want rapid economic growth. People want more factories, more vehicles, more products, and there is higher consumption. While these activities help the economy grow, they often increase pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. So, governments have to find a balance between protecting the environment and supporting economic growth. In simple words, we need development, but it should happen in a way that also protects our planet for future generations. So, this completes our one shot revision of the chapter Climates of India. If this video helped you understand the chapter, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Kidspedia. In the next video, we will continue with the next chapter. Thanks for watching. We will see you again in our next video. Bye bye.